March 17th, 1900, Volume 3, Sorrow of the Pope, Humility. This morning, blessed Jesus made me see the Holy Father with open wings, going in search of his children, in order to gather them under his wings. And I could hear his lament saying, my children, how many times have I tried to gather you under my wings, and you escape me? Oh, please listen to my moans and have compassion for my sorrow. And while saying this, he cried bitterly. It seemed that it was not only the secular that were moving away from the Pope, but also priests, and these gave greater sorrow to the Holy Father. How pitiful it was to see the Pope in this position. After this I saw Jesus, who echoed the laments of the Holy Father and added, few are those who have remained faithful, and these few live like foxes withdrawn inside their dens. They are afraid to expose themselves in order to pull their children away from the mouths of the wolves. They speak, they propose, but those are all words thrown to the wind. They never come to deeds. Having said this, he disappeared. After a little while he came back. I felt all annihilated within myself in the presence of Jesus, and he, seeing me annihilated, told me, my daughter, the more you lower yourself within yourself, the more I feel drawn to lower myself toward you and to fill you with my grace. Here is how humility is bearer of light. March 17th, 1914, Volume 11. One who does the divine will takes part not only in the external works, ad extra, of God, but also in the interior works, ad intra, of the three divine persons. Continuing in my usual state, my adorable Jesus continued to show himself inside me, in such a way that I possessed all his limbs. He looked so content that, appearing unable to contain this joy, he told me, my daughter, one who does my will takes part in the actions, ad intra, of the divine persons. This privilege is reserved only to one who does my volition, to take part not only in all of our works ad extra, but to pass from these to the works ad intra. This is why it is hard for me not to content one who lives in my volition. Being in my will, the soul is in the intimate part of our heart, of our desires, of our affections and thoughts. Her heartbeat, her breath, and ours are one. Therefore the joys, the pleasures, the glory, and the love that she gives us are many and great, infinite in their way and nature, and in no way dissimilar to ours, because they are our own. Just as in our eternal love, one enraptures the other, one forms the joy of the other, to the extent that many times, unable to contain this love and these joys, we come out with works ad extra. In the same way, we remain enraptured and delighted by this soul who does our will. Therefore, how could we render unhappy the one who makes us so happy? How not to love just as we love ourselves, not as we love the other creatures, the one who loves us with our same love? There are no curtains of secrets with this soul. Between us and her there is no ours and hers. Everything is in common. We make of the soul, by grace, that which we are by nature, impeccable, and so forth, so that no disparity may exist between us. And as we come out with works ad extra, being unable to contain our love, in the same way, unable to contain the love of the soul who does our will, we make her come out from ourselves, pointing her out to the people as our favorite one, our beloved. Only for her and for souls similar to her do we let goods descend upon earth, and only for love of these souls do we preserve the earth. Then we enclose this soul within ourselves in order to enjoy her, because just as we, the divine persons, are inseparable, the soul who does our will becomes inseparable from us. March 17th, 1921, Volume 12. Jesus makes Luisa pass from the office which his humanity had upon earth to the office which his will had within his humanity. I was saying to my sweet Jesus, I don't know, the more you say you give to me by means of your holy volition, the more wretched and ugly I feel. I should feel better, more good. Instead, it is all the opposite. And Jesus told me, my daughter, the more the grain of my will grows in you, the more you will feel the misery of your straw. In fact, when the ear begins to form, grain and straw are one single thing. But when the life of the ear keeps forming, as the grain matures, the straw is detached from it, and remains only as defense of the grain. Therefore, the more wretched you feel, the more the grain of my will keeps forming in you, and is close to perfect maturation. The straw within you is nothing other than your weak nature, which, living together with the sanctity and the nobility of my will, feels its misery even more. Then he added, my beloved, up until now you have done before me the office which my humanity had upon earth. Now I want to change your office, giving you another one, more noble, more extensive. I want to give you the office which my will had within my humanity. See how much higher and more sublime this is. My humanity had a beginning. My will is eternal. My humanity is circumscribed and limited. My will has no limits and no boundaries. It is immense. A more noble and distinguished office I could not give you. On hearing this, I said, my sweet Jesus, I can find no reason why you want to give me such an office, nor have I done anything to deserve such a great favor. And Jesus, the whole reason is my love, your littleness, your living in my arms like a baby who cares about nothing but her Jesus alone, and the fact that you have never refused me any sacrifice which I have asked of you. I do not let myself be impressed by great things, because in the things which appear to be great, there is always something human, but by small things, small in appearance, though great in themselves. And then, you yourself should have understood that I was to give you a special mission in my will, that continuous speaking to you about my will, that making you understand its admirable effects, which I have done with no one until now. I behaved with you like a teacher who wants his disciple to become perfect, either in medicine or in history or in something else. It seems that he cannot speak about anything else. He keeps harping on that point. So I did with you. I assumed the attitude of teacher of divine will, as if I ignored all the rest. After I instructed you well, I manifested to you your mission and how the fulfillment of the Fiat Voluntas Tua on earth will begin in you. Courage, my daughter. I see that you are losing heart. Do not fear. You will have all of my will as your help and support. And while he was saying this, he caressed my head, my face, my heart with his hands, as though confirming what he was saying. Then he disappeared. March 17th, 1929, Volume 25. What Jesus has manifested about his adorable will are divine births. His sorrow when he sees that these truths are not well kept. I was all abandoned in the divine Fiat. I felt my poor mind immersed in the sea of its endless light, and my adorable Jesus moving in my interior told me, my daughter, my divine will is in the act of forming continuous births. In these births, it generates and gives birth to light. It generates and gives birth to other lives similar to itself. It generates and gives birth to sanctity and beauty. The first generation is formed within our divine womb, and then the innumerable births from us come out. But do you want to know when we generate and form these birds? When we want to put out a truth. First we generate it in our womb as a dear child of ours, and then we put it out as a birth from us, so that it may descend down below to creatures, and may give to one who receives it the freedom to let her generate, that she may produce more birds, and therefore creatures may have our dear child generated in our womb. So our truths descend from heaven in order to generate in the hearts and to form the long generation of the divine births coming from me. See then, my daughter, each truth I have manifested to you about my divine will was a child generated in our paternal womb, such that as we put it out, it brought you the child of our light, the child of our beauty, of our sanctity, and of our love. And if the grace was given to you to put them out, it was because they found in you the space and the freedom to be able to generate in such a way that, unable to contain within yourself the so many births of the children of our truths, you put them out in those who had the good of listening to you. Therefore it can be said that one who does not take these truths into consideration, does not esteem them, appreciate them, and love them, is a child of ours who does not appreciate and love the greatest thing that exists in heaven and on earth. And by not loving it and esteeming it, they come to suffocate these children of ours and to prevent their generation. There is no greater evil than this, not to use all the care in keeping a truth of ours as the greatest of treasures, because it is our child. It is the bearer of our life upon earth. What good can a truth of ours not do? It contains the power of our fiat, and so very vast, and it has the power to save an entire world. More so since each truth possesses a distinct good to be given to creatures, as well as a glory for the one who generated it. And to hinder the good and the glory that the dear births from us should give us is the greatest of crimes. This is why I have given you so much grace. I have administered to you the words. I have directed your hand while you were writing, so that the children of my truths might not be suffocated and as though buried in your soul. And so that you might not omit anything, I placed myself near you. I held you in my arms, like a tender mother holds her little daughter. And now I attracted you with promises. Now I corrected you. Now I reproached you severely when I saw you reluctant to write the truths that I had manifested to you, because I had the interest that they were lives and children of mine, and that if not today, tomorrow they would come out to the light. You cannot comprehend my sorrow in seeing the negligence of the ones who have lost the 3 volumes of my divine will. How many truths were not inside of them? How many lives have they not suffocated, forming the tomb for my children that, with so much love, I issued from my paternal womb? On the part of those who have had no care to the point of causing them to be lost, I feel that they have broken the plan of my divine will and its long story, spoken to you with so much love, in order to make it known, because every time I would set myself to tell you what pertained to my fiat, the ardor of my love was so great that I felt I was renewing the act of the whole creation, especially when, in the ardor of our love, man was created. In hearing this, I felt my soul being pierced through, and as if they were tearing it to pieces. And I said to him, "My love, if you want, you can make a miracle of your omnipotence to have them be found, and so you will not have the sorrow of so many truths suffocated, and the long story of your divine will as though broken. I too feel I suffer very much, and I am not even able to say what this sorrow is like." And Jesus added, "It is my sorrow that echoes in yours. It is the tearing of so many lives of mine that they have suffocated that you feel within you. The truths that have been lost are written in the depth of your soul, because first I would write them in you with my creative hand, and then I would have you write them on paper. And this is why you feel vividly the tearing of them. It is my same tearing that you feel in your heart. If you knew how much I suffer in each truth of these volumes that they have lost with so much negligence, I feel myself being given death, and as many deaths for as many truths as were inside of them. Not only this, but death to all the good that those truths were to bring, and death to the glory that they were to give me. But they will pay for this with so much more fire in purgatory for as many truths as they have caused to be lost. Know, however, that if they do not use all the means in order to find them, because I want their cooperation, I will not make the miracle that some would want, that these may be found, and this as chastisement of their negligence. These births, these truths, these dear children and lives of ours that we issued, however, we shall not withdraw, because what comes out of the womb of our divinity as relator and bearer of a great good for creatures is not withdrawn by us because of the ingratitude and negligence of those who have lost so many truths of ours. Therefore, when the kingdom of our will becomes known upon earth and will reign on it, then I will make it so as to manifest again what has been lost, because if I did not do so, the nexus and the connection and the plan as whole of the kingdom of the divine Fiat would be missing. On hearing this, crying, I said, "So, my love, if it is so, I have to wait. How long will be my exile on earth? Yet I feel so tortured because of your privations that I cannot be away from the celestial fatherland any longer." And Jesus, "Daughter, do not afflict yourself, nor is it necessary that I tell you the way, how and to whom I must manifest if they do not find what was lost, whether to you or to others. What befits you to do, on your part, is to do what you have to do for the kingdom of my divine will. Once you have done the last act that we want from you for the fulfillment of it, your Jesus will not wait a minute to bring you in my arms into the celestial regions. Did I not do the same in the kingdom of redemption? I omitted nothing, and I did everything, so that nothing might be lacking on my part, so that all might receive the good of redemption. And when I did everything, I departed for heaven without waiting for the outcome, leaving the task to the apostles. So it will be with you. Therefore be attentive and pluck up courage." End of March 17th. Fiat.